So today we'll talk about elements and their symbols. Before that, we need to understand what are elements. So elements are substances which contain only one type of atoms. That means if there is an element called iron, all of its particles will be similar and of the same type, same size, and all of them will look similar. So that's how an element is. Now there are more than 100 elements in the nature. They are found in different forms. Sometimes they are found in the form of compounds, sometimes they are found simply as their atoms. But before understanding how things are made up of, how chemical reactions occur, how are different chemical substances formed, we need to understand some basics of chemistry. For that, first thing we need to understand is what are its symbols of different elements present in different compounds. So we need to write down symbols for these first. With passage of time and with continuous usage, you will be able to memorize these symbols. So symbols are generally written with first letter of the element. Now there is a certain rule to write the symbol. So if it contains only for one letter, it has to be a capital letter, uppercase H for hydrogen. Similarly, for carbon, you need to write a capital C or an uppercase C. There are certain elements, for them symbol contains more than one letter. In that case, the first letter is always capital, uppercase, and the second letter is lowercase. Just in the case of aluminium, the symbol is Al, and A is capital, L is lowercase l. Similarly, for calcium, we write Ca, capital C and lowercase a. For nitrogen, we write symbol N. And for oxygen, there is O. So this is how some of the symbols are written. It's not always the case that the symbol will be containing first two or first letter of its name. Like in the case of potassium, sodium, you will find in zinc, in chlorine, iron, magnesium. What happened actually, initially the elements were discovered or separated from their compound in different parts of the world. And according to the language spoken there or the culture, they gave certain names, sometimes on the basis of the place where it is found. So some of the names are imported from other languages. That's why you will find certain difference in these cases. Just like in the case of potassium, the symbol is K. Now, in a particular language, the potassium was called Ku. So the symbol is K. We need to always write, if it's only one letter, we need to write it as uppercase, or in common way you say capital letter or capital K. Similarly, for sodium, you would predict that it would be either S or SO, and that is not the case. Sodium symbol is Na, so N capital, A lowercase. It has come from natrium. Similarly, we'll see other symbols: zinc, Zn, chlorine, Cl, magnesium, Mg, and iron has come from ferrum, Fe. These are some of the examples of elements. There are many more elements. In your subsequent classes, you will understand about them, and you will, over the time, you will learn their symbols as well. So with practice, it will be very easy for you to learn. For the beginning, you can just revise them twice or thrice at what are different symbols. Next, we are going to look at masses of different elements. considering that atoms are very small, so if we measure their masses, that would be measuring the mass of an atom would be very difficult, and it would be very impractical to always write the mass of each atom. So we have considered a way of writing, like we write it in atomic mass units. It is written as AMU. Now these days AMU is instead replaced by unified mass, also written as U. Now what this AMU or U is, we have one U or AMU is defined as 1 by 12 of the mass of a carbon C12 isotope carbon atom. So simply we can say 1 U is equal to 1 by 12 the mass of a C12 atom. So the masses of some of the common elements like hydrogen is 1 AMU, oxygen is 8 AMU, not 8, 16 AMU, and carbon is 12 AMU. So this is how the masses are written. So what is the standard here? 1 U or 1 AMU, which is defined as 1 by 12 the mass of a C12 or carbon atom. So that is how we measure the masses of different elements in terms of AMUs or unified mass, that is U. Next section we will understand how the different elements form compounds and their chemical formula.